Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, October 18th, the last trading day of the week. So going to start off here with the usual SPY, QQQ, IWM, and then I'll get into some chart requests that I see there. And what I still see now is the SPY is still at resistance. We can see it's at the 585.38. Pre-market, it's at 584.35. So nothing has changed this whole week. You can see day after day, it's been pressing up against that resistance level over and over and over again. So today's another day. It can break through or not. So it's still resistance, still a little bit cautious until it breaks. And QQQ, same situation. It's up pre-market 494, but guess what? The 1.414 at 497.46 is still resistance. So this is the theme of the indices, that they are struggling to break out, but they've had a nice move off the lows. So this is looking better and better, but not sure if it's going to happen this week or next, or maybe even after the election. Not sure. So we just need to just be cautious until we confirmation that things really want to break out and go higher. And the IWM, how's that looking? It's up 112. So what's that resistance right there? It's 226.74 pre-market. It's might open above it again, 227.26. So could this be the day that it finally wants to close above resistance? It could be. So that 226.74, we're going to watch that for a weekly candle close right here. Weekly candle close. We're going to see if it can do it, because it has never done it ever since the all-time high for the whole retrace. You can see there's never been a weekly candle close above it. There's been wicks, but never a close. So this 226.74 is the target to close. And before I get into the other ones, going to go over Tesla. And Tesla pre-market, how is that looking? It's down a little bit. It was down a little bit more, but nothing has changed at all. This whole week, look at that little tiny candle, right? It's been a while since we've seen that. And the last time we kind of saw it was right here, when there was a lot of weeks in a row where there were small candles. So this is the reason why, though, is because of the support of the Ichimoku cloud right now. And that is holding very well as a support. So that's the goal, to finish above the week. Just minimum stay above the cloud, above this 221.26, and possibly go higher. So kind of a very boring week for Tesla, but it's fine as long as support continues to hold. And that support is that cloud at 219. And yeah, Palantir, I have it right here. And Palantir is looking like it's holding support still, right? We can put on this Ichimoku's, and it's still holding that conversion line. It held it yesterday. It even back tested the top of the arc there. This is fabulous for continuation. So can it just go blast off? Maybe not. Maybe it needs to come back down to the arc again or so in the future. But this is kind of like the start of the building a base on top of a higher level. And also that linear scale fib right there, 40.54, looks to be that it's still going to be a pretty solid support in the future, even if this conversion line did not hold. So I'm really expecting this to continue to hold, because it did already test it, a nice wick. And if it did go back there again, I think it's a possibility it could still hold. So going to focus on that the most, but this is still a very, very bullish chart. And I'm just waiting for enough time to pass before this $45 target gets broken. And yeah, I see a request for end phase. And you think that's distribution phase or only consolidation at the bottom as it's breaking the channel? Well, I mentioned this the whole week, and I'm going to go to the weekly chart here. So here we go. So we'll see how it closes today, but it's looking like it's going to go make a lower low from these candles here. And if it stays around current price, but if it does go build momentum to the day and close around here, around like the 97, 98, then maybe that'll still be a magnet for this line. But if it closes around here, then I think what's going to happen is, yeah, all this up here is going to be resistance now. So the next time it comes up to 96 to 100, it might just get rejected and roll over. And the possible target now would be maybe like 10 points lower down here, maybe like 79 or 80. Maybe 12 points lower. So I think possibly it needs to retest this arc. So this is basically a very, very bullish chart, high time frame, but it's kind of like Tesla. Since the very top, it's just been trending down. So this is a short-term bear experiencing because it's not a bullish chart. And I was expecting this level to hold, but it did not. So this kind of means that it possibly needs to retest a lower low one last time before it's kind of ready. And all this means to me is it's just going to take a lot longer time for it to get more bullish, right? It could take maybe down until where this angle is, maybe March, before it really wants to retest this angle and then continue higher. So does it concern me? No, because I'm just going to ride out the storm, and maybe if it goes lower, I'll buy more. And there's a lot of other stocks that are bullish anyways, so therefore I can focus on those until this one really bullish. But this one, high time frame, super bullish. Low time frame from the 2022, it's still in a bear market, right? So therefore, just got to give it time to find its new higher low, wherever that might be, down here, until it's ready to go higher. Okay, BLBD, Bluebird. So Bluebird, I do have a GAN for this one actually. And it is opening above that weekly baseline there at, what is that, maybe 45.93. So yeah, it's going to get above there today. So this is looking like it's getting back above the blue level and that. So it could be trying to build a base to go higher. But what I'm really seeing, though, with this is you got the more resistance up here at 48, 43. Then the top arc is going to be really the line in the sand to get more bullish. So that's going to be around $50. And I want to eventually see it on top of here to hold. I want to see a breakout, then the following week just collapses underneath it again, because that's just a fake out, right? I want to see a breakout and maybe a back test and continuation. So that's how you get confirmation that things want to go higher. These bearish engulfing candles that you see here all the time, when it got rejected, the sign that it wasn't ready to go higher yet. So the ultimate goal is getting above $50, confirming it as support, and not get a bearish engulfing candle underneath it again, and just maybe a bullish engulfing to take off. And then if that happens, then I think it can go much higher to this angle above, and maybe even the 90s or 100s above there too. So this is looking better and better, but it has to break above here first to get more bullish. Otherwise, I can see things just going sideways for weeks or a couple months until it maybe touches the cloud, until it's ready to go higher. Okay, I see more requests here. Netflix, haven't seen that one in a while. So Netflix, yeah, it's gapping up pre-market 732.76, and support held, right? It really did. So this is a weekly candle, and it was retesting that conversion line, and then it just bounced and rebounded. Now it's making its way higher. So my target for Netflix has always been going to this green level above 826. So once it broke above this arc, and this is what I meant by Bluebird, you know, once it breaks above arc, you see continuation, right? You don't see one of these big bearish engulfing candles that negate it. So that's what we want to see for Bluebird, just a continuation like that. And once you saw that continuation, I was like, yeah, it's going to gravitate to this blue or this green arc above. So 823 is going to be the target in the future. Not sure, or 825. Not sure if it's going to go there straight up, but over time, I think it'll gravitate to that level, and then we'll see how price reacts once it gets there. And SOFI, this one, we'll see where it closes. 990. My target is above the arc, maybe 10. Let's just round up to maybe 1006 right up there. would be ideal to close the candle above that to try to get on top. But if it closes underneath it, then there's a possibility to, like I said yesterday, to come back down to the 930s or even close this gap right here into the low 9s. So we'll see what happens with this one. But ideally, I'd love it to close above resistance, especially even above this 200-week moving average up there at 1020 would be great because, well, it just appeared for one, but for two, it's never happened, right? So we'll see how price reacts when it gets there today, but that's going to be the goal. And I see MSTR as well. So MicroStrategy, yeah, I think this one is going to gravitate to 245 over time, but the linear scale chart is showing what's really happening, that possibly 204.57 could be a resistance, but it is a weekly candle, so it has the potential today to actually close above this 204.57, and then that would be 2 weekly candles in a row that would close above this 204.57. And if that happens, then I think it's going to be on its way to the 240s, then the 280s and stuff. So that's going to be my goal for MicroStrategy today, close above 204.57. All right, good morning. How is Mara looking? I like the miners. I like them all. Mara is looking good. So this one is going up towards the 50-week moving. So one step at a time. So that's the target to close above today, I think, 1885. If it doesn't close above it, is it bad? No, because it's still maintaining on top of this conversion line here for price to keep building a base to go higher. But it does have multiple layers of resistance above, so it's going to have some challenges to break above. But if it can close above that 1885 today, then next week it could have some continuation and get to the 20s again, and then possibly the bottom of the cloud around 2065. So it's looking more and more bullish, just like the rest of the miners. And I just wanted to break one resistance level at a time, starting with this 1885. Let's see, VRT. Yeah, that one, very nice, very, very bullish, right? The only way to do this one, though, is a fib, just to see. Yeah, okay, so essentially, let's keep closing candles above that 109.27, and I think it'll then have that opportunity to go to 122 if that's the case, because it can build a level on top of the previous high. And building levels on top of previous highs is a very bullish thing. So the longer this holds as support, then the better the chance it has to get into the 120s above. CCJ. I do have a GAN on this one. Cameco Corporation. So yeah, from 2000. Okay. But you can see what's really been important, that blue level the whole time. And once it broke out, it went up to the arcs and got rejected and retested the bottom arc. And now it's breaking out and we're getting continuation. So this is what I was talking about before. You want to see a breakout with follow through. You don't want to see a breakout and a big red candle, right? So breakout and follow through, this is a good thing for continuation. And now it is actually battling to go into all-time high territory, right? This has never been that high. It has the opportunity to close the weekly candle above this high here. So if that's the case, we'll put on our fibs then, the most recent one, just to see that level. Yeah, it's 56.24, and if it can start to build a base on top of that, then guess what? It can go up to 60s and maybe even the 70s above. Oh yes, Rocket Lab, RKLB. So I had a arrow drawn there just because that's the 618. And the market looks like it just opened. Wow, there we go. So we got 1073 as the 618. So that is the target to close above for this weekly candle, for the day, for everything. 618 right there. So this is important. Yes, my orange level is also important, right? Go back in time. You can see that level right here. It goes all the way with all these candles. But what's even more important to get more bullish is staying above this 618. And that's the 618 from the all-time high in the past. So 1073, just focus on the number. If it closes above, it could get a lot more bullish. If not, it could come back down and retest levels. Yeah, I have more time today, so I'm going to do some more. And VRT here. So this is looking same, right? I have, wait, I already did that one, right? Yeah. Let's see, Rocket Lab, NNE, yes, okay. Similar requests. So nanonuclear, I'm just going to draw a fib on this one. That's all I need. And this is telling the story right here. How we'll just go to the daily charts. You can see the daily candles. And yeah, 618. That's the target to continue to close above 1898. But it's getting into territory of lots of resistance there. The 702, the 786 above. But I'd like to see a lot more daily and weekly candles continue to close above this 618. If that can happen for NNE, then I think what's going to happen next is the 20s and then maybe even 25. But that could be some big resistance there, the 2561 in the future. So we're just going to pay attention to that coming up. But yeah, continue closing above 1898. Have I looked at now? Oh, I see NVIDIA first. Yeah, of course, NVDA. How's that going to close the week? Well, it doesn't look like it's going to do all-time highs today. It is looking like 140.76 is a target to get a lot more bullish, but I'm already really bullish because it kind of held the 86, and on linear scale, it also already held this this 786, right? The 786 on linear scale is very, very cool because from the all-time high to the low, it did break out and it successfully back tested it on Tuesday, and now it's breaking back above. This is kind of confirmation to me, this wick through it, that it really wants to break out into all-time highs. I'm not sure when, but staying above this 886, the 35, and on log scale above this one, that's going to be a great sign for continuation. So I think it's only a matter of time before it blasts through this 140.76 and gets to the 150s and 160s above. So service now here, I had a line drawn there just to show the support, and it's flipping to support. Let's see here. We'll go on the weekly chart. Yeah, so let me just take that off now. And we can see that price did flip this arc to a support, and then it's gravitating higher. So I do think this green level will be the target eventually, and that's around 1,000. We'll just round it up, 1,100 up there, and then we'll have to wait to see how price reacts once it gets there. But Ichimoku, everything is really bullish, so it's not really that reliable. But what we can do and what we will do is put on one of these recent, not recent, but from the previous 2021 high down to that low. And we're going to see that there is resistance before that, right? There's resistance at 961.97. So it has to break that 961.97 first before it makes its way to the 1100. So that's going to be the next resistance. And it looks like 865.79 held perfectly as support. So that is perfect for building a base and continuing higher. It just needs to break above this 961.97. Okay, I see more here. AGQ. AGQ. How does this one look? Let's do a most recent fib on this one. Yeah, okay, so it's getting above important levels here, the 618. So I'm going to be focusing on that number a lot, the 41.85, and that's going to be your support. If that continues to hold, then I think the upper 40s can happen. And also, if you put on the Ichimoku here, we can see it's also pretty bullish down there as well. So it has room to go higher. It just needs to continue to close daily and weekly candles above 41.85. Then it can build that base to go to the 702, 47, and then maybe 53 above. AMD 156. So I showed this chart on Tuesday on the triumvirate, and I was saying that it's looking really good for breaking out and back testing with the V bottom, like that flushed through it. And now it looks like it could be even back testing these levels around the 150s or even back down to maybe 149 could be even possible. But what's really important to see is it might not get there because of this support right here, the bottom of the cloud, the baseline. So that kind of sits really around 154.80. And I think if that continues to hold, then the possibility to go higher is good. But there's lots of support here. Lots of support right at the 154, the 153, down here at 149. So much support that even if it did come down here, I think that'd be very bullish for keep on back testing these levels in order to go higher. Yeah, I already did Mara. Oh, I see MBLY. MBLY. So still not my kind of stock, but I know a lot of people like it because they see these big moves, 13% and 16%. But to me, it's just a falling knife still, and it can't even break above this conversion line. So that is the target, really. $13. Got to really close above that $13 in order to kind of get more bullish. And there hasn't been a weekly candle close above this blue line since maybe right here in June, but that was just a fake out. And everything has just been a fake out. So this real struggle has been this baseline up here. It can't get above it, right? 21.85. So that is going to be the target. Oh, if it does, in fact, close above $13, then that'll be the next target to close above. But yes, the possibility to go up and maybe even double is there. But it's just not a chart that I like because there's not a lot of confluence of support. There's only okay, maybe this level will hold. And I don't like to live off of maybes, so therefore this is why it's not attractive to me. But yes, it has potential to double, but it's not really the stock I like. So let's see here, RIOT. And I'll do a couple more here. So yeah, RIOT breaking above my blue arc there. This is what I was telling my Patreon members about, that I wanted to see that weekly candle close above it, and it's going in that direction. Then you got the baseline above it right there around 973. So this is looking pretty good for being more bullish, right? If it can close above the arc, great. If it can even close above this 973, even better. But we'll see if it can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it has to, but at least you can see this blue arc was a support. Then this big bearish engulfing was resistance. So a close back above that is significant enough for me, as long as the future candles continue to close above it. Yeah, I'll do two more. I'll do CrowdStrike, then NVAX. So CrowdStrike, I was telling Patreon members as well that this is really, really bullish setup. It broke and it back tested, and while people were panicking and saying, "Oh, maybe it's going to go back down," I saw it like, wow, this is a perfect back test of my blue arc, a perfect back test of the baseline, and sure enough, it just held and went higher. So can it continue to retest these lower levels? Of course it can, but this is more and more bullish in my opinion, because another back test and confirmation, I think it'll send it higher. And it's only a matter of time before it returns to the previous highs. I think maybe from the 370s up to the 390s, because this is looking more and more bullish on top of the cloud, on top of the arc, on top of the baseline. As long as price continues there, it will go higher. And NVAX, NovaVax. Yeah, so this one, I like it a lot. Not because of the Ichimoku. I'm just going to take that off. Not really because of the GAN either, but mainly because of the fib here from that high to the low, and I did buy some. Yeah, 1032. Look at that. That was your support. And anything above 1032, I'm like, it's probably going to close the week above it. And that's what it's looking like, better and better. So 1032 is that support. And I think what it's doing is breaking out. It's back testing. It's back testing again. And it has a really good chance of closing this weekly candle above it again, just like it did here. It closed above. So therefore, this could be building a base on top of that 236 in order to go back towards the 13s, the 14s, and maybe even the 16s above. So this is, yeah, looking like a really good level to me right there. People look for opportunities all the time. I personally took advantage of it when it was a little bit lower. So therefore, I think it has room to go higher. So I think that's it for today. Let's just do one final recap of the market. Sorry, I can't get to all the requests, but yeah, we know the levels. Oh, look at the IWM. It did not. Well, let me go back to this chart. It just is getting rejected by that 786 over and over again, right? So let's see, 226.74 be the target. But yeah, I mean, everything's doing pretty well, right? And mostly everything's green. And even NFAX is green a little bit too. And Tesla's battling that 221 level as usual. Every single day this week, it's been battling it. But yeah, everything, guys, is looking good. Bitcoin's even looking good. So I think the miners can continue higher. A lot of them looking like they're breaking through one resistance level at a time. So that's a good thing for continuation. There's no need to panic. And I think we're looking for a decent weekly candle close. But just remember, the SPY, the QQQ, and the IWM, they're all still at resistance. So caution is warranted. Don't get too greedy. We need to make sure these resistance levels breaks before we get more bullish. All right, that's it for today. And I'll see you guys Monday. And I'll be doing the shows in the morning around 8:30 or 9:30. Yeah, no, 8:30 Eastern time with the tracker, Tesla tracker. So tune in there and see you Monday.